Absolutely. I'm stood on the very balcony where Air Marshal Dowding would have stood, looking out towards the south coast to see 1,120 Luftwaffe planes coming towards London. Just 630 RAF planes defeated them that day, and 2 days later Hitler had to abandon his plans to invade the UK. So the pilots, of course, showed unbelievable bravery in that fight, but behind the scenes there were men and women on the ground who played just as pivotal a role. Having defeated France, invading England was next in Hitler's sights. But before the Nazis could set sail, they first had to win control of the skies. Victory in the Battle of Britain was a defining moment in our history. The pilots get the plaudits, but success owes much to the men and women on the ground.
Hurricanes come home. Our fighters land after a brisk but successful encounter with hit-and-run radar.
In 1940, Germany's Luftwaffe had the numbers, the RAF had the nous.
Blue section only.
The Nazis never knew this bunker in Uxbridge existed, but it was here their defeat was plotted. Information from new radar technology and phoned-in sightings from observers on the ground were processed before squadrons were scrambled to protect the capital.
45 minutes warning gave Fighter Command the opportunity of putting 40 Spitfires and Hurricanes in the path of the enemy.
And it was after a visit to Uxbridge, Winston Churchill uttered the now famous line,
"Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few."
No wonder the RAF Benevolent Fund has chosen this year to highlight the work of women and unsung heroes like pilots who signed up to fight from other countries.
Just not recognising the bravery and the incredible commitment of those pilots, we're also recognising those that were on the ground that played their part in the Battle of Britain.
Well, I've come inside now to the filter room at Stanmore. Now, Uxbridge was where they scrambled the Fighter Command from, but it was here that was the sort of the nerve centre and the brains, really. And Christina works at the museum. This filter room, what would have happened here and how quickly would it have had to happen?
So into the filter room here, radar information from the coastline along Britain came, and it was absolutely critical to get that process as quickly as possible. From kind of first sight of the aircraft by radar over the sea, we probably had about 20 minutes to get our aircrew scrambled to meet them.
And there's no computers at this time, so that you then had men and women with binoculars on the ground, spotting things, phoning it in. And so the speed of process, as you mentioned, must have been unbelievable.
Absolutely. So radar gave us a precious few minutes. It only looked out over the sea. So the observer corps that you mentioned, those volunteers on the ground were absolutely critical as well in that whole process. The men and women working in this room had minutes, but not only was the speed very intense, but they had to be incredibly accurate as well in that information.
Now, anybody who's seen the film Battle of Britain may have seen the story of Air Marshal Dowding, but he's a bit of a forgotten hero. Why did he do so much good, and why did he potentially tip the balance of this battle?
He was quite visionary, to be honest. He was a man ahead of his time. He supported the aircrew. He cared so much about them, and he created this system, the Dowding system, by integrating new technology such as radar. He had that vision to utilise it in a new way.
And he pioneered women as well, didn't he?
He did, yes. So again, quite a new thing at the time to get women into the workplace and doing such important roles as they were doing in this room. An absolutely unsung hero.
And yet there was resistance at the time, even though they did such an amazing job. Even in the 40s, people turned their eyes up slightly at women doing that important role. Amazing. Well, sadly, the living memories of what happened here are dying out slowly, but it was an incredible chapter in our history and one which has defined our modern history even today.
All right, Martin, thank you.